Yeah.
Welcome to a mashup of the Pearls and Polish podcast and the Knotted Knitter. I'm your host, Rachel, coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. And
I am your co-host, Amy, the Knotted Knitter podcast, coming to you from Pennsylvania.
so we are like fiber friends. We're like the epitome of coast to coast fiber friends. So,
Yeah,
you and I were
absolutely.
yeah. So we were just chatting, like, how did we get to know each other? It was through a swap. Like
Mhm.
a number of years ago, and we've been fiber friends ever since, which has been great. So, we have our fiber friends yarn swap. I know last year we called it the sock swap, and we changed it so it's a little more inclusive for our non-sock knitting friends. So it's now the Fiber Friends Yarn Swap, and that kicks off this Friday, March 14th, with signups going live. So to kind of celebrate the swap going for what, second, third year? Something like that. Um,
Third. I think this is the third year.
yes, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you hosted it the first year by yourself.
that's right.
And yep. And then last year I begged you to let me help you
I thank
and
you.
co-host. And yeah, and then this year we decided to team up and do it again. And
Yeah.
I love the name change to make it more inclusive for everybody. That was a great idea.
Yes. So, we thought we would do a little interview of each other, since this is the like first time we've actually talked together. We usually talk through
Yeah.
Instagram, but now we're like real Fiverr friends. Okay, so you're from Pennsylvania. Are you
Yep.
originally from Pennsylvania, or did you relocate to Pennsylvania?
So I answer that question of yes and no. So I am an army brat and I'm very proud of it. So my dad was in the service and I was actually born in Germany.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and we bounced between Germany and Pennsylvania. We did a couple of years of a tour of duty in Texas,
Okay.
came back to Pennsylvania, went back to Germany, and then came back to Pennsylvania. So I was always used to being the new kid in school, living somewhere new, and then I ended up marrying a man who is also in the military, but we've never had to move or relocate. So
Wow.
since 1993, I've been in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I had no idea. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. Hmm.
There we go.
Yeah.
See? Learning new things.
Right.
Okay, so I wrote down a couple questions. First off, how did you learn to knit?
Oh, my how I learned to knit was oh, I actually don't have the book on my bookshelf, but I have one of the I think it's the yellow. They were really, really popular like 20 years ago, the How To for Dummy
Yeah.
books. And I have a how to knit and crochet for dummies. And something else that people don't really know is I actually learned to crochet first
Okay.
and hate it. I
Oh,
try so hard to love to crochet and I just can't. I don't like it. I like the consistency of knitting that you can always see your stitches.
yeah.
And like for me, my brother holds this one over my head. He has a blanket that I crocheted for him, and the blanket kind of goes like this.
It's an ocean blanket. It has,
Yeah, in like a camo red heart. I think he uses it for I don't know what. I secretly would like to find it in his house and take it from him, but I did. I learned how to crochet and I didn't like it. And then knitting to say had really just started to become popular and tutorials were online. And my husband has an aunt who I would see at like Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas. And I was like, okay, I've gotten this far. And then I would see her and she would help me out a little bit. But the whole reason I started knitting is I had my son and I used to read all the time, but you can't read a book and watch a baby at the same time.
Yeah.
And I needed something to do. So I said, I'm like, I'm going to knit because I wanted to knit socks. It was the whole reason. I wasn't worried about making hats or gloves or sweaters or anything. I was knitting for the sole purpose to make socks and jumped in and yeah, had a few rough projects along the way, but picked up enough that I knit socks all the time now.
Yeah, which I feel like you're more of a garment knitter, right? You use it like
I
a
am.
garment.
Yeah, I do. I still like socks. I mean, I love them for the portability, but realistically, like how many socks do you need?
A lot.
And I thank you. That is the justification I
A
needed.
lot of socks.
Yeah, yeah, 365 pair at least.
Yeah,
Once I hit that, then then I've got one for every day of the year,
exactly.
and maybe a few buffer pairs. But I did. I really, I think it's been over the past couple of years that I've started to knit garments more. It's more of an investment, but I'm a selfish knitter. Admittedly, I am 100% a selfish knitter. So knitting something and then gifting it, I'm not good at that.
I'm not
So
either.
yeah. So that's where I think, making the garment where it's still the same amount of knitting time. It's just knitting something different with it being a sock versus a sweater. And yeah, so but you know what I need to do more is I need to do better at wearing my hand knit sweaters
Yeah.
because I struggle to wear them and I spend so much time working on them and then it's like, oh, I didn't wear that. So I got to do better at that.
Yeah, mine are all in a cupboard in another room.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, when I'm getting dressed in the morning, I was like, oh, I need to like go get the sweater
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
whatever's in my closet. Um,
Right. That's there and easy to grab.
yes, yeah. So I need to do that better too.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is seeing that being that we're hosting a yarn swap, what is your favorite thing about a yarn swap?
Oh, you know what? It's never the yarn.
Yeah.
Realistically, it is never the yarn. It's getting to know the person, especially if like you and they're from somewhere else in the state or the country or the world, because we are opening this internationally.
Yes.
So that is always fun. But it's neat. Like you and we're busy moms. We both work. We both have kids. But I've learned so much from you about Taekwondo and things that I've never I never would have sat and like excitedly watched. And I did, and I messaged you about it too.
Yeah.
But cheered for you when you were going through your competitions and everything like that. And it's just so neat to hit it off because we've all had those swaps where you don't jive with your partner like as much as you really want to. You don't make that connection, and that is okay. Like we don't expect that as hosts, but when you do make that connection and you click, that's fantastic. And snacks, if there are snacks in my swap package, I get really excited about
Oh yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, one of the
Yeah.
things I feel like we've added to our swap, which makes it a little different, is um, are you a chatty person? A chatty
Yeah.
person, but you don't have time, or you don't like chatting?
Right.
Because I can get a little obsessive with like, oh, brand new friend, because there's that like distance with the internet where like I can ask all the questions and not feel overwhelmed or overwhelming. But at the same time, if this is a person who's on a different time zone or is, just not chatty, um, I need like not taking that personally. And some people just don't like doing a lot of the chatter, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
So by I think by adding that, it kind of adds that at like low risk. If you're
Yes.
not someone who likes chatting, we're gonna try and pair you with someone who also does not like chatting. That
Right.
way, like everyone can find a person that they can at least find some sort of connection with.
Yeah. And I know one of the last swaps I participated in, I checked the honest box that I'm chatty,
Yeah.
and then things just got so busy at the time of year as things were kind of wrapping up and I didn't expect it. And I apologized to the person because I was very, very absent from,
Yeah.
communicating. And I felt bad about that. And I think that's just something important that you don't know this person who you're
Mhm.
being paired with. Ideally, it's to make a new friend and meet a new swap partner. But be honest, and you don't have to go into the detail of, you know, giving all of the personal information of why maybe you can't communicate. But
Yeah.
if something did come up, let your swap partner know, hey, something came up. I don't mean to be so absent,
Yeah.
but here's my apology in advance.
Yeah. 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 And I feel like the people who sign up for our swaps are like the sweetest people. Uh,
Yes.
like who are all super understanding, super compassionate people.
Yeah.
So it is a great group that
Yeah, it really is.
yeah. All right. So my next question. So what is your comfort project? Like I need to cast on a project and I don't want to think about it. What do you cast on?
Anything that is knitting in the round, that it doesn't involve purling.
Okay.
So
Good one.
that that could be for me really it's just that meditative knit stitch on repeat. So it doesn't matter if it's a sock, which yeah, you have to do a little bit of ribbing, or a sweater that I have to do the little bit of ribbing. I mean, a muscle burrow hat's fantastic because you're in the round for that. But I would say just anything that is that repetitive knit stitch just over and over that my mind can tune out all of the things that are going on and
Yeah.
just knit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. All
Hmm.
right. So we both, if you don't watch our channels, you should because we have a great time. But you have a little furry co-host and I have a little furry co-host.
Do. Yes.
I have Sabine. She's actually in my lap right now. She went on a long walk, so she's a little tired. So she's
Oh,
taking a nap. Uh,
good.
yeah, so Sabine is my puppy, and you have Dill. So who
I
is Dill?
do. So Dill is, oh my gosh, he is our Easter COVID cat.
Oh no.
So we Dill came about very, very unplanned, to be completely honest, Rachel. My husband and I follow like a local animal rescue
Yeah.
on Facebook, and we were sending each other pictures back and forth and back and forth. And COVID came, everything shut down, and we were home on Easter Sunday,
Okay.
and we really weren't doing like a big Easter dinner because it was just the four of us at home. And I'm very spontaneous and um loud. And I said to my husband, I was like, well, you know what? If the SPCA is open, we are going and we're getting a cat. And he said, okay, sure, thinking it's Easter Sunday,
Right.
that we would
Everything is closed on
not,
Easter
they
Sunday.
would. Right. And it was the middle of COVID. And he was like, fine, if they're open, we'll go get a cat. And we had nothing. We didn't have a litter box. We didn't have cat food, nothing. And I get online and I look and it says that they're open. And I call them just to make sure that they are open.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they're open. And we go up and we see a couple of different cats. And they actually had to bring the cats out to you in their carriers. You
Oh,
weren't allowed into the shelters to see them or anything. So we didn't really get to interact with him at all.
right.
And his name was Dill. We all love pickles, and my family. And we were like, okay, they warned us. They're like, hey, he's really kind of clingy. He is very, very affectionate. Are you sure? And we were like, yeah, sure, okay. And we brought him home. He howled the
Oh,
entire drive home. Well, of
dang.
course, we had to make a pit stop at the grocery store for the litter box and cat food and everything. And yeah, he came home. He hid for just about 2 days,
Okay.
and he is the most attached cat to all of us. He's actually not with me right now. He is downstairs because my husband and daughter are playing Mario Kart together right now. So he's downstairs having family time with them while we chat. But normally, and it's so funny, I never when I podcast, I never have like treats or anything
Right.
with me. And he just has that moment where he's like, I'm popping up and saying hi and jumps up. And I'm like, I never plan it. It's just one of those, some nights he's there and he is all curled up in my lap and just wants that snuggle time.
Yeah.
And then other times he's like, no, I'm okay. I'm not here. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
but
that's one of my favorite parts. Like, where's Dill? When's
yeah,
Dill gonna happen?
yeah,
'Cause he's
yeah.
so
Well, I'm glad you look forward to it because there are some times where I'm like, people are going to think that this is just so annoying with, here's this person and her cat's up all over, because there's some times where he's doing things over here in the screen and I don't really see it
yeah.
until I'm going back through and editing, and then I'm like, really.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, but he is definitely the family favorite. Like he is well loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's like my favorite part. Like, where's Dill?
Good, well, I will
But
make sure.
yeah, which I asked when we started this video was,
Yeah.
where's Dill?
Yeah, you did, and I did. I apologized. I'm like, he's downstairs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. So does Dill have like a favorite cozy spot, like when you're looking for him? Or is he like your shadow all the time?
He is kind of my shadow. Like he will start crying in the morning. He's my second alarm. So if my alarm clock doesn't wake me, he wakes me for breakfast. He sits on the back of the toilet while I get ready for work, and um, if he is preoccupied with someone else in the house getting ready, when I turn on the water to brush my teeth and wash my face, he comes running into the
Oh my
room
God.
to get fresh water. And when we leave, he sits in the kitchen and he looks at us all sad and pouty because we're leaving him for the day. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So but then we always tease at nighttime. I mean, he comes up to the bedroom to sleep in our bed,
yeah.
but he has a blanket on the back of our sofa. And we always tease that when we go to bed, he's on guard duty and
Huh.
keeps us safe from, the monsters and the dragons and things like that. And yeah, so
Eats all the bad dreams. Like that's
yeah, exactly. Exactly. He keeps us safe. Yeah. Oh, and
Sabine,
then there's Sabine.
Sabine
Yeah.
making noise.
Oh,
No
I
noise.
love Sabine.
Yes. No noise. So I had to take her collar off because it jingles. Like, well, I don't want like jingles the
Oh,
whole time.
it's
If she keeps making noise, I'm gonna send her out. But
okay.
Sabine is here. I think I had one
Right.
person make a comment of like the dog is distracting. Like, well, you know what, friend? This is my
Yeah.
life, and you
Right.
divided
Exactly.
into a little piece of it. So
Yeah.
deal.
Because it's nice when it's real and it's not
Yeah.
scripted. I mean, I try to make show notes more so that I don't forget when I'm typing up my show notes. This is who the designer is and yarn and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's not scripted. My intro scripted because I worked really hard to get my intro
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
because
I know.
that's
I
hard.
recorded earlier today. I was still trying to edit. I was trying to finish in time. I was like, no,
Hmm.
time to go Zoom. So
Yeah.
I still need to finish editing, but it's like the beginning is scripted and the rest is like, you know what?
Right.
If
Yeah.
the lights go out, you're gonna see that. This is real life.
Yep. 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 And I often, because we're a huge music family, and I let this afternoon I recorded too because it's been about a month since I've actually gotten to put out a full podcast.
Yeah.
And I told my family today, I'm like, listen, I'm closing the door. I'm podcasting. And Lillian, she said, she's like, okay, she's like, I'll close my door and I'll turn my music down too, because she's on a musical kick right now. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because I don't need copyright catches on YouTube because Newsies musical is playing in the background.
Yes. So is music
Yeah.
like the thing right now?
For her right now it is. She was hoping that was going to be her summer musical this year, and it's not. But when she saw it as a potential, when she saw that, she was really excited, and she's been listening to the soundtrack for about a month. Um,
Okay.
so I'm Newsies out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. But that's a
yeah.
good soundtrack.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But not for a month straight.
Not for a month straight, and not when I hear her turn it on as soon as we say goodnight to her, and then when I go in the morning to wake her up, it's still playing through her machine, and I'm like, we don't you want to listen to anything new yet? Like, isn't there anything? And she's like, no. She's like, I this is what I want to listen to. So
Oh
yeah,
my.
lots of newsies right now.
I'm gonna, hey, can you quiet down, please? Pipe down.
Aw.
Take a nap. Go to sleep. Sit on. Oh my gosh.
Aw.
Okay, so I only have one more question. So if you're not knitting, what are you doing? Do you ever
Oh,
not knit?
I mean, I don't knit, so I have a normal 8 to 5 job.
Mhm.
So I don't knit there because it's data entry and I can't.
Yeah.
Um, I do work at the dance studio that Lillian dances at a couple of
Mhm.
nights a week. So in between helping with things there, I do knit, and I think like a lot of knitters with a capital K, as people like to say, who the knitting bug bit them hard. I do kind of knit all the time. I used to when my kids were little. I would have knitting everywhere in the house, so
Yeah.
there was like a simple project in our bathroom, so when I was giving the kids a bath, that I could sit there and pay attention to them but still knit, because I think you're the same way. I can knit without looking.
Yes.
So I mean it takes a while to get to that point, it really does. But I learned how to knit without looking, so I could safely have a child in the bathtub
Yeah.
and knit. If I was cooking something long and involved in the kitchen, there was a project in the kitchen. But I think for me, and it's because I can knit without looking, I can be completely engaged in a conversation and knitting.
Yeah.
And case in point, I'm knitting right now
Oh,
as we've been talking. I'm working on a project, but I'm not on my phone, because even on your phone, you're and the short, quick, 15-second reels and shorts and everything like that. You know, it's there, but you're not fully engaged in a conversation. So
yeah.
I know, as long as it doesn't distract the person who I am talking to,
Mhm.
um, I'm always knitting. I really am always knitting.
Yeah. I started
Yeah.
taking my knitting to like the kids' birthday parties that they're invited to.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna sit here for 3 hours, like I'm gonna do something because I'm gonna get bored.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I did that at a birthday party. Yeah, I was talking to the moms and we were having a
Hmm.
but I got two cuffs done and part of a leg. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
it's
And
three
and
hours.
I look at it of, you have something to show for your time. And that's where I like you had said, I've become more of a garment knitter, but my socks now are special to me because it's usually we're doing something and I want to be in the moment, but I want to knit at the same time. So there's more moments and memories in my socks.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I need to take a drink, just a second.
Yes,
Sorry.
no, you're good. Actually, I'm gonna grab my knitting because I haven't been knitting. So
Come
what are you
on,
working
man.
on?
What's that?
So what are you working on right now?
I nope. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I am test knitting a sweater for Alicia Plummer. So it is right now just a 10-inch blob of tweed.
yeah.
It's a bottom up sweater, and I need to knit. I think the pattern says 11 inches, but I don't want it so cropped. So
Yeah.
I'm doing like 12 inches.
Okay.
And but the tweed yarn's really pretty, so it's a nice like I'm letting the yarn do all the work and I'm just doing the knitting.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love working with tweed. Um,
I do too. I don't very often. This is only the second tweed sweater that I'll have knit,
yeah.
but I do. I really like it.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, well, those are all the questions I had, and then I
Okay.
just got a 10-minute warning from Zoom.
Oh,
So
all right.
yes, we're doing great. So
Yeah.
Fiber Friend yarn swap. I keep wanting to say sock swap, as I can know that's wrong. Made that choice. It's the Fiber Friends yarn swap. So some info. Signups are going up March 14th, and it's the 14th through the 21st. So you have lots of time to sign up. It'll be posted on my Instagram page, your Instagram page.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on my YouTube page. It'll be on your YouTube page.
Yeah.
Everywhere where you consume
Yeah.
it, it'll be there. Lots of time to get your friends to also sign up. And we send out partner emails March 30th. So it gives me a little bit of time to sort through everyone, double, triple check all my info, and then I will send out emails. And then your last date to ship is May 3rd. So you have about a month to get to know your partner, get your yarn together, and send that out. So what is the one requirement for the yarn swap? Pop quiz.
Oh, pop quiz. The one and only requirement for the Fiber Friends yarn swap is to send one skein or one. You and I have done 50-gram skein
Yeah.
swaps in the past. So if you want to, and your partner says that they would prefer, 250-gram skeins, that's the fun of getting to know your partner. But the only requirement is a skein of sock yarn.
Any yarn.
Yeah,
No.
any yarn. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and
So I
yes.
realized I never added that to the questionnaire of like, what's your preferred weight, like yarn weight? So I added a little
Oh,
bit because like, wait, if we're doing any yarn,
yeah, I didn't even notice that.
we need to add that question of
Yeah,
if you prefer DK, then we want
right.
to make sure that's an option. So
Yeah.
I added that question in this afternoon of like, oh wait, we got to put that in.
Yeah, I
So
didn't notice that when I reviewed it either because we were still talking like yarn swap,
yeah,
fiber sock yarn swap.
yes. So it is now fixed. So
Yeah, good.
dog barking. So anyways, that's all the requirement. You are required to send it on time.
Yes,
No one likes a late package. That being said, if for whatever reason you do have to send it in late, we understand that life happens. Make sure you let your partner know, let us know, because we do want everyone to receive a package who signs up. And then we have an angel swap. Do you want to talk about that? And we didn't discuss this at all, but do you want to talk about the angel swap?
sure,
Okay.
sure. So Angel Swap came about of a past swap that Rachel and I had done where we know things happen, planned, unplanned, life does get in the way sometimes. So if you are not able to send a swap package and or if your partner just completely drops off the face of the planet and isn't replying to your messages and emails, please get in contact with Rachel or myself and let us know.
Yeah.
On the questionnaire, there is a spot of would you be able to or would you consider being an angel? And what that means is if I'll use myself as an example. If I am not able to send my partner a swap package, then you will get in contact with Rachel, and Rachel would reach out to one of the angels and say, hey, we do need you to help and put together a package for so and so. It is not a guarantee, and we don't want it to be a guarantee that we would ever need to rely on our swap angels, but we want it to be a good effort that if something happens that, I'm not able to send out my package to my swap partner, that we would have an angel who would be able to chip in and still send something. It might not be exactly what you would want, but we would really try to make sure that we could match you well with an angel to get you a swap
Yeah.
parcel.
Yeah. So we had, I think the first swap I did, I had someone who messaged me saying that they were like really sick, like hospitalized sick, and they weren't able to send their package and they felt awful. I was like, it's fine. Like life
Yeah,
happens, we get it. We got this
right,
taken care of. We have had people ghost before, and that was like the first option I understand because like you can't control your health.
right.
The second option of just ghosting, is just rude. But we did
Yeah.
have people in place, and I've done angel swaps before for other swaps where I was called up and I was like, yes,
Mhm.
I'm ready. And I was
Yeah,
able to get a package
yeah.
out in a couple days because we do want everyone to enjoy
Right.
swap, and make some fiber friends. So
Yes.
there's that. So that is optional. You don't have to
Yes.
be a swap angel if you don't want to or can't. Don't feel pressured to sign up for that. And anything else? We got like 3 minutes.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think this was so much fun. I'm so glad that after quite a few years of, chatting on Instagram, that we were able to have like a real, I mean, this feels like just like I'm sitting down to watch your podcast and catching up with
Yeah.
you. So it's nice to be able to do the swap with you, to co-host with you. And I think we need to make this more of like a regular thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. We'll talk about that after
Yeah.
the video. But anyways, thank
Perfect.
you for joining us for this
Yeah.
little co-video. If you don't follow Amy on Instagram or Ravelry or YouTube, make sure you do that. I'll have both of all our social links in the description below. And then head over to Amy's channel. We're going to do another interview type thing like this, but on her channel. So make sure you check out her channel, like and subscribe for both of us so you know when we have new videos coming out, and we will see you for the Fiber Friends sock swap starting on March 14th.
Right.
All right, yay!
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Woohoo!